Oh, you're going to suck bad.
Oh, yeah, man.
Oh, yeah. There's good news, though. There's good news. There's good news. Roscoe Taylor, the founder of Team Rhino. Dude's a beast. Dude's a beast. I remember sitting in the car with him. We were in Chicago almost 2 years ago, and we were sitting in the car, and he was next to me, and I was here, and we were making some phone calls, and he was setting up appointments, and there was one time I actually had to grab the phone and hang up on that person. Because that dude sucked. He's got 4,000 on his team now. 4,000 on his team. He's a rock star. But I promise you, in that car on day one, that dude sucked. Keith Brown, R&D, trainer, beast. I met him at a gas station on the south side of Chicago. And we started making calls. And we started, we're going to do this thing together. And he started making calls, and that dude sucked. He sucked bad. He's a trainer now. He's a monster. But on day one, he sucked. Hindu, guy hit the BMW that days, he sucked. Nate Aho, the team that started South Carolina, he sucked. Making a ton of money now. In 150 days, he put about 1,400 on his team in the first 150 days.
Wow.
But I promise you, on day one, he sucked. David Peach. David Peach is a monster. He's a mentor. When I walk around, with him here, it's like walking around with one of the Beatles. He is a big deal. He is making a ton of money. But I sat in the audience for his first presentation, and I was embarrassed for him. Because he sucked so bad. And the best news of all day is there's not one of you in this room that's going to suck as bad as Eric sucked on day one. So you got to understand, I grew up in a town where there's more cows than people. I've never done anything like this before. I'd never spoken in front of a group before World Ventures. And I've always been average. I was a C student until I was a college dropout. And I've been average my entire life. I'm even average height and average weight. You guys see that? I've always been average at everything except for one key factor, determination. Does anybody know the difference between average people and people you see making a ton of money today? Does anybody know what average people do when they suck? They quit. Isn't that noble? That's what they do. As soon as they suck, they quit. I believe the problem is they believe in talent. I believe average people use talent as an excuse to stay in the back of the room. I step on some toes here. I believe average people look at us up on stage and they look at all these guys coming across and they go, Jeremy Larson's got something I don't have. David Peach got something I don't have. He's talented. I flew to Singapore. I did a training. There were 20 people waiting for me at the airport, and the first thing they said to me when I got off the plane is they said, they're very nice people, but they barely speak English. They said, Eric, you talented speaker. You know why they said that? They weren't at my first presentation. I don't believe in talent. I believe it's an excuse that people use to stay average. And stop using that as an excuse, because my first presentation was in a garage. I had never held a clicker before World Ventures. You know those clickers click on? I never held one. See, and I was so nervous during my first presentation. There was 4 people there. It was glamorous. And they gave me one of these clickers. Let's pretend that this is a clicker. And I was so nervous on my 4th to last slide, my hands started shaking on my first World Ventures presentation 4.5 years ago. And it started shaking so bad that on the 4th to last slide, dropped the clicker. My face turned bright red. See, if you drop a clicker on a cold day on a concrete floor in Minnesota, that sucker's going to explode. Yeah. My face turned bright red, and I saw the door was right there. And I walked out the door, I got in my car, and I left.
Okay.
I didn't finish my first World Ventures presentation. Because I was so embarrassed. And I sucked so bad. Let me ask you a question. Was I talented then? Or do you simply see the result of 10,000 repetitions 4.5 years later, and all of a sudden now I come to Kansas City and there's 4,000 people in the room, and I can just kind of do it. All of a sudden now I'm talented. It's crap. See, if you were willing to do the repetitions I was willing to do in the last 4.5 years, you'd be exactly where I'm at. See, I believe God has blessed everybody I'm looking at with an able body and an able mind just like he blessed me. And if there's one thing he gave me, it's just that I'm not a quitter. See, I just want to pay attention, get excited, never quit. And I suck just like you're going to suck. But you know what? I did some reps. And I did a rep, and I did a rep, and I went from sucking to getting okay. And I worked, and I worked, and I went from okay to good. And I did a rep, and I did a rep, and I went from good to great. And I did a rep, and I did a rep, and I went from great to awesome. And I did a rep, and I did a rep, and I got unconscious. The goal in life, in my opinion, is to become unconsciously competent at something that is worth getting good at. Something that allows you to have time and money. Something that allows you to affect other people's lives positively. Something that allowed me, last month, to fly my dad to South Africa, because he didn't have a passport when I saw this, and he's been at the same job for 37 years, and we didn't get to stay in hotels when I was growing up. So I flew him to South Africa, and I gave him a lot of cash when he got there, and I told him to go do whatever he wants. Have you ever gotten that good at something that would allow you to do that? I never had before World Ventures. And if you and I are going to lock arms, there's just a couple more things I got to tell you. This is a marathon. We are in it together. I want you to write down in big, bold letters the way we're going to live our lives together. As big as you can, and put it up in front, wherever you can put it in front of you, is what would you do today if you knew you could not fail? What would you do today if you knew you could not fail? That's the way we're going to live our lives from now on. Who would you call when you run out of here if you knew they were going to say yes? Everybody. That's the answer. As fast as humanly possible, but you won't. And I know why you won't, because you're afraid of a word. If you knew everybody's going to say yes, we'd call everybody we know as fast as humanly possible, but you won't. So what word are we afraid of? Anybody know? No. You're afraid of the word. I got good news. You partner up with me, and you make a decision to go all in, the no's go away. You partner up with me, we lock arms for the next 12 months, you and me, sitting at your kitchen table, right now, we lock arms, we go after this thing for the next 12 months, people aren't allowed to tell us no. It's not an option anymore. We're going to do this thing for real. We're making a decision, we're going to get it. So when we show people, when we go show your neighbor, he's got two options. He says yes, or we haunt him. He now has two options. So you either pay me now or you pay me later. But you and I are doing this thing. We're doing it with or without anybody. We're in long term. So when your neighbor has his two options, he says yes, or we haunt him, he either pays us now or he pays us later. Pay me now or pay me later. You can't tell me no, because I'm in. See, and once you made a decision that you're in, you get the same thing. See, when we lock arms, when we go show your neighbor and he says no, in my mind, it's just like, okay, you're going to pay us later, right? And when we go show the guy across the street and he says yes, and then he comes to your neighbor's house 10 weeks from now and says, hey, you want to do this travel deal? We got to make sure your neighbor knows that's us haunting him. And then 3 months from now, when a guy across the street pulls up in his brand new silver BMW and he's got a license plate that says, you said no, that's us haunting him. And when the guy across the street's got the for sale sign because he just bought a house cash down the road on the beach, with the money used from World Ventures, that for sale sign is us haunting him. And when your neighbor's kid comes back from college 20 years from now, and he says he just joined Dream Trips University,